Alrighty, so this morning I went and picked up some pallets, which I need to unload. And I got them because I need to close up a bunch of places where Digger is getting into that garden over there. And so I need to put one here, and then go around this side. And I gotta move all this junk so I can get in here and go from the little shed here across to that T-post and those pallets. And then I have to work way over there, and there's a little bit of fence there, but it needs a gate, so I'll have to set 2 posts and put in a gate. So that's on the agenda for today, Monday. So that part's done. That was easy enough. Now I gotta get on to moving a junk pile and hauling them around the corner and getting them in place. All right, I got this hole plugged up. It was like 2.5 pallets. I just put one across the hole in the middle. But so I need to set 2 gate posts and build a gate or find a gate for that fence over there at the end of the garden space. And I realized a few minutes ago that I forgot about the big gap over there at the edge of the house. So more to do, and I don't know how long I'll be able to work today because it's getting cooler and cloudier and darker. The clouds are coming in. Right, I'm over here in this area, and I need to put some kind of a wall, probably right across in here. There's also a lot of junk down over that way, the other side of that water tank, that needs cleaned up. And need to finish cutting this tree stump out of here, which now that I have my little chainsaw, I could probably do that. And there's just miscellaneous junk to pick up and trash, so gonna get busy. Alrighty, it's Wednesday and I've done chores. I'm out here in this little creekside garden, and if you remember right, I had planted some peas on the other side of the trellis and covered them with straw because we were going to have some really cold temperatures. And they're starting to peek out a little bit. It looks like they're doing pretty good. And we'll just keep an eye out on the weather, and if it looks like we're going to be down in the 20s again, I'll probably sprinkle a little more straw over the top of them. What I've done this morning is on this outside where I did not plant any peas, I just piled up some compost. I have added some amendments, and I've added some gypsum, some kelp, some iron, magnesium, manganese, a product called oregonite, which is a volcanic ash product that's mined. And those are all for all the trace minerals, because this soil, either the trace minerals are non-existent or they're locked up in forms that the plants cannot use. And until we get the biology, the bacteria and the fungi and everything really working to transform those minerals into forms that the plants can take up and use, then I'm adding them in those forms. And so now I'm going to kind of just use my little cultivator rake. I'm going to chop this into the compost, and then I'm going to plant the cabbages that are still left in the greenhouse. I just want to mix these amendments into the soil just so that the bacteria and stuff can start working on them and taking them up, and they'll be ready for the cabbages. And yes, this compost is piled up pretty high. There's a rock in there. And that's okay. It will deflate as the biology eats it. All right, so there are 13 cabbage transplants here, and I'm going to plant them about 2 feet apart down this trellis. And then I'll think about if I have some space left over in between what I might plant there. So I'm just using my hand. This compost is really nice and loose, and I'm just using my hand to make a hole, not to plant out of the pot. You can see that one's way past when it should have been transplanted. It's pretty root bound, but in 24 to 36 hours, all of those little roots will start going out into the soil and finding all the goodies and start growing. And when I'm done, I will come and put some straw over these guys. It is supposed to be bright and sunny later this afternoon, and we don't want them to get a sunburn, and it'll help protect them a little bit if we are going to have any freezing nights, which it doesn't look like we're going to have any of those this week. All right, even though it's just been raining the last couple of days, and it might rain some more today, no guarantees. So I'm watering the plants in. I want to make sure their root balls are good and moist. I don't want them to get stunted because there was a dry pocket. I want all of those amendments, which were mostly dry powders, I want those to get thoroughly soaked so that the biology can find them and start working on them and feeding them to the plants. Now it doesn't take much here because this ground is already fairly damp, and this compost holds a lot of water, but you can see how much water I'm putting down and how fast it's being absorbed. Okay, that's what organic matter does for your soil. Manure, waste hay, peat moss, sawdust and wood chips are good, but just on top of the soil. Don't mix them into your soil because they will tie up nitrogen when they start breaking down. Oh, I might have a kink in my hose. Let me go see. Little update on this little raised bed garden. This first bed here I have added some amendments to: gypsum, iron, magnesium, manganese, some kelp, some aragonite, which is a volcanic ash product, and those are all for calcium and trace minerals and things. And I'm going to plant some little Japanese turnips in there in a few minutes. But over here, that's the pak choi that I transplanted the other day. It's doing really good. And there's some more. And then these are the beets that I transplanted a few days ago. And this is the bed of spinach that I planted a couple of weeks ago, and you can see they're starting to really sprout and take off in here. I'm thinking that if we don't get down into the 20s again, they should be ready for picking in a month or 6 weeks. And then there's some elephant garlic. These beds down here did not get some of these amendments because they didn't have them at the time. They did get some gypsum, but not the other things. So I'll probably be adding some of those things to the beds as we go along, especially for the garlic and for the Swiss chard. The Swiss chard is looking pretty good. The leaves are fairly smooth, though with Swiss chard, I'm not sure how flat these leaves should be. My soil guys say that puckered leaves, rippled leaves, are a sign of calcium deficiency. Nope, Tink, you can't get in the garden. And I'm thinking that maybe these leaves should all look more like that one, where they're pretty flat and not puckered like this one. So I might need to add some more gypsum, or it could be boron, because they tell me that if you don't have enough boron, then the plants can't move the calcium around from the soil up into their structure. So maybe it's boron. We'll have to put some stuff together and see what happens. Then I have an empty bed here. It's full of really coarse compost, and I will probably plant some turnips in here too, but I think I need to bring some more compost in. The level's sunk. This is another bed that needs more compost. It has some snapdragons in it. I planted some little tiny baby garlics in here, and I will bring in some more compost and get this leveled up too. Alright, so this is what I'm planting in this bed. Some little Japanese turnips from Renee's garden called Mikado. I don't know if I said that right or not, but I've made 1, 2, 3, 4 little rows in here, and I'm just going to scatter the seed and press them down, sprinkle a little of the soil over the top, and water them in. These seeds are pretty tiny. They are smaller than cabbage or broccoli seeds, but still little round seeds. I'm just trying to get one every inch or two. I don't know how good the germination will be this time of year, though turnips are like related to broccoli and cabbages and kale, and so they don't mind the colder temperatures. They usually grow best in cooler weather. So we'll see what we get. I decided that since these seeds are so tiny, like now that they're in the soil, they're almost impossible to even see, though that might be one right there, that little teeny tiny round brown spot. That I'm not going to cover them. I'm just going to water them in, because the water, even on a low pressure, will just wash a little bit of soil over the top of them, and I don't think those tiny little seeds need to be covered up that deep. Next job on today's list is mucking out at least part of the composting stuff out of that little chicken house there behind me. And let me get turned around. I am dumping it on top of, let's see here, show you the dead tomato vines that I tossed over here. I was trying to shred them up when I first cut them down, but they were too wet and green and they clogged up the shredder, so I just threw them over here. And I thought, you know, why bother? I can just smash them down, cover them with compost, and they're going to rot down really nice. And then I want to plant some squash to grow on that trellis right there. But that won't happen probably till May. Alrighty, so there's like about 20 5-gallon buckets of composting, chicken manure, and waste hay, and all a bunch of other goodies. They took out the hoop house and put it out here. The plan is, as I get cardboard, I will fill in and cover some of this bare ground with cardboard, and then alfalfa hay. I am thinking about, there's a little planting bed on the inside of this trellis, and I'm seriously considering cleaning that out and putting some finished compost in there and planting peas. We might have time for a short variety of peas to make a good amount, so we'll see if I get that done or not. Oh, in the meantime, I think I'm ready to go have a sit down for a few minutes and maybe drink another cup of coffee. Good morning. It's Friday. Lots of things on the agenda. Digger is onto something, but who knows what it is. A stray cat, a rabbit, a bird. Though some of the chickens were kind of alarming a few minutes ago, so there could have been something important out here. I don't know. The sun's coming up on one side of me and the moon's going down on the other. Had a nice big full moon. My camera doesn't pick it up, but nice big full moon last night. Lots of things on the agenda today, but first thing is to get hay for the goats, make sure water buckets are full, and then we'll feed Digger Dog. And then we'll get on to some other things. I was able to collect a bunch of cardboard yesterday, so I can mulch this greenhouse garden down. I don't have much to put on top of it, I don't think. Oh, well, maybe I do. I might have some waste hay to put on top of it, at least a thin layer to help keep it down. So we will get on to that in a bit. Good morning, Bashful. How you doing, buddy? Hey, baby, what you doing? Hi. Hi, Bashful. You ready for some hay? Yep. There you go, bud. There you go. Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, we need to bring you some salt and probably fill your bucket up after a while. Okay. How you doing, buddy? Huh? Good morning, Tinkers. Good morning, Tink Tink. Yep, breakfast time. Oh, the goats have their breakfast, the cats have their breakfast. Now it's time to feed Digger Dog, and he gets kibble with raw goat milk for breakfast. Is that good? Huh? You like your breakfast, don't you? He'll drink all the milk and then he'll eat the kibble. Yeah, pretty boy. And a big long list of things that need to be done. Not all of those are going to happen today. I know I need to do some laundry if it's not going to rain. I need to make potting soil so I can start more seeds. I've got buckets of things in the kitchen that need to get dumped to the chickens. I need to cut wood and finish filling up my wood boxes. I need to go run some errands. We'll see how much happens today. Alrighty, I checked the weather forecast. And we are supposed to be sunny the next couple of days, so it is time to get this big pile of laundry taken care of, because I'm getting to the point where I don't really want to have to go to the laundromat. Going to the laundromat is not only a time suck, but it's also really hard on my breathing because I have severe perfume and chemical allergies. And what happens is that after my clothes have been to the laundromat, even though I don't use perfumed laundry soap and I don't use any dryer sheets, my clothes pick that stuff up from the machines, and then they stink. And I have a hard time wearing them afterwards, as well as the time being at the laundromat and whatnot. So I like to try and get all my stuff done at home. Alrighty, sour milk, cheese waste, veggie scraps, various other things from the kitchen for the chickens. These girls sure do love their milk stuff. Yesterday, when I was cutting up pallets for wood for the stove, there was some good ones, and so I brought them over here and made this wall. So this closes up another side of this greenhouse garden space. And now all I need to do to keep Digger out of here is I've got to go down to that end and set 2 gate posts and make a gate. But while Digger was out yesterday evening, he decided he was mad he couldn't get in here from this side, so he tore up the little styrofoam box I had over that faucet to keep it from freezing. And that's just the kind of crap he does. He just makes me so mad sometimes. I picked up a nice pile of cardboard yesterday, so I am going to go start mulching that greenhouse garden space. I moved some bags of potting soil here, and you can see that this greenhouse garden space is loaded with earthworms, and they really love the cardboard, the wood chips, the sawdust and things that I put down last spring that have been decomposing all this time. And look at them, there's just tons of them in here. And that's going to be so good for the plants this year, because the worms actually come up into the planters, and all of these planters this past year became like worm bins. So it's really awesome. And here comes the sun. It'll be over the hill in a few minutes. But, you know, gosh, it's probably 8 o'clock or later, and you can see that down here in the yard we don't have direct sun yet. I'm gonna move some pots and things out of the way so I can lay this ginormous piece of cardboard down. I love getting nice big thick pieces, because the less cracks and openings there are, the less likely weeds are gonna come through. Though I didn't have too much weed pressure in here this past summer, so I don't think it'll be a big issue this year. Hi, wormies. Okay, this chick box need to come out. Let's see. And yeah, this pot's full of wet dirt are pretty heavy. Okay. Awesome. Except for this big blue tub. So which way do we want to go now? Alright, it is like 8:36, and we finally have some direct sun on the back side of the house, but you can see the garden space is still in the shade, and it'll be in the shade for a little bit, though there is a little bit of sun getting down to those cabbages down there at the end. So, but this is what I deal with in the winter time. Is not very much direct sun down here in the yard in this bottom of this canyon. Alrighty, this is all the cardboard I have for this week, so I'm not quite done. I still have some more space that needs to be covered up, but I got quite a bit done. I don't have any more blue tubs, but I do have some other big pots and tubs that I can kind of finish filling in this row here with, and I can do that later. Right now I'm going to go sit down and have a cup of coffee, and then I'll come back out and throw some hay mulch down. Well, I guess I'm down for the count. It became quite evident as I was moving around this morning, doing things, that I had pulled a muscle in my back, probably from twisting it yesterday when I was mucking the wet, nasty stuff out of Bentley's pen so he wasn't standing in water. And it's kind of spasming and taking my breath away. So we've got some naproxen on board, and we're just going to lay down for a while. And it's really crappy because it is a beautiful, sunshiny day outside, and I can't get out there and do anything. Well, welcome to Farmer Friday. As you can see, I'm not in bed anymore. I have laid around most of the day in bed because of my back, and it finally eased up just about chore time. But it's really sucky to have wasted a whole beautiful, bright, sunshiny day. So the rest of the week has been pretty good. It rained the first part of the week, and it's been, cold, but not usually freezing. I think it's going to get colder again this next few days, and we have more rain coming in the end of next week. So I need to try and get more dry wood in and undercover. Probably do that tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Tomorrow, Saturday, I have farmer's market. I'll probably work on wood Sunday and Monday, and we'll see how my back is. So, but you've seen the clips from this week, and just not too much else going on. So, Ezzy has been acting a little funny. She's been doing like this hoppy jumpy thing, and she's been having some spasms. It's almost like muscle spasms. I'm not sure what's going on, if maybe Bambi has rammed her and she's got like a pinched nerve or something, or if we're looking at a mineral deficiency, something like selenium or maybe vitamin E, because both of those affect the nervous system. So I'm still researching and trying to figure that out, but hopefully I'll figure that out pretty soon, and we'll be done with whatever it is and be good. Otherwise everybody's doing all right. Digger dog is as aggravating as ever, which you have seen. And other than that, not too much to report. So we'll see you tomorrow at the Superior Farmers Market, Superior, Arizona, downtown in the food court during their annual home show and antique tour. So see you there. Come on, what's the matter? What's the matter? Come on. Let's get up there. Let's get up there. Come on. That's a good... What are you doing? You're being crazy. What was that? Huh? What's that twitching and jumping for? Come on. Yeah, come on. Let's milk. Yeah.